The glimpse of India. The glimpse of India. The glimpses of India. So we'll go for the Coorg today. So we are going to discuss the topic called Coorg. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Coorg, which is the second unit of the glimpses of India. So what is that what Coorg is referred to? Anyone? Is my voice?
Sir, can you repeat?
Sorry? The title Coorg is referred to what?
So it's a place.
It's a place. Yeah. So Coorg is referring to a name of a particular place, so which is also known as a coffee country, right? And it is famous for its rainforest and also spices, right? So the first thing is called as you can find out three of the things about the topic called Coorg. One is called as it is a coffee country. Second is called as it's famous for its rainforest and spices. So let's discuss about this topic, what actually it tries to give us the idea. So how it is relating to the main title, The Glimpses of India, right? So the writer stated the topic like by saying, midway between Mysore and the coastal town of Mangalore sits a piece of heaven that must have drifted from the kingdom of God. So it means the author wanted to point out, right, where this place is. This place is in between the Mysore and the coastal town. So when we talk about coastal town, it means referring to the place which is covering with the sea areas, coastal, right? So coastal town of what? Mangalore. And this place is also known as a piece of heaven. Why? Now that must have drifted from the kingdom of God. It means the kind of environment which is a sooth and also uh, 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 what do we say, that a kind of a peaceful. Therefore, it has been pointed that it must have drifted. Drifted means been carried along gently by air. It's called as a breeze, soothe, gentle breeze, that the wind. So therefore, this place is known as what? Means a kingdom of God, a piece of heaven, the kingdom of God, right? In between, present with the Mysore and the coastal town Mangalore. So the place is called as a Coorg, right? This land of rolling hills is inhabited by a proud race of martial men, beautiful women, and wild creatures. Now, the second sentence is talking about what? Who are the inhabitants of this place? It stated that rolling hills, this land of rolling hills means you would find out all the areas covering with nothing but hills, and specifically people by a proud race of martial men. Martial men means those people who actually associated with the war. These people and their wife are called as a beautiful woman and also wild creatures. So as it is habituated with the means proud race of martial men, beautiful women, and also covering with the trees and hills and valleys and filled with forest. So therefore, it is indicating that the wild creatures are also there. Coorg or Kodagu. So you can point out that it has been given another name that's called as a Kodagu. So Coorg or Kodagu, the smallest district of Karnataka. It is a very small district of Karnataka. Is home to evergreen rainforest. Evergreen rainforest means called as a all the areas covering with the greenery, trees, and most of the time the place where the condition of the weather is called as a rainy, right? Seeming like rainy. So therefore, it is called as a home to evergreen rainforest, spices and coffee plantation, and also different types of you can say that products have been produced like spices and coffee plantation. Evergreen rainforest covered 30% of this district. Means if you're talking about the Coorg or Kodagu, is a small district of Karnataka. So this district, which 30% is covering with nothing but the forest areas. And during the monsoons, it pours enough to keep many visitors away, right? During the monsoon season, what happened? Now it pours enough to keep many visitors away. So you will find out that the visitors who visit to this place, but during the monsoon season, you won't find out, right? Many visitors. The season of joy commences from September and continues till March. So it means it is one of the, what do we say that? A kind of a destination place for many of the visitors to come and spend their time, right? And the moment or the period is called as a September to till March. So at that period of time, visitors flow to this place, right? They find out the kind of a happiness, right? And that begins from September and continues till March. And therefore, it is called as the season of joy. The weather is perfect with some showers thrown in for good measure. So some showers means that called as a drizzling, the air breaths of invigorating. The air means you would find out the air present in the weather that gives us nothing but the invigorating coffee. Invigorating coffee means it somehow indicating the kind of a smell of coffee. Coffee estates and colonial bungalows stand tucked under tree canopies in prime corners. So as you would find out, the place is very old, right? And coffee estates are there. Coffee estates means what you would find out means some patches of land which I have covered with the coffee plantation, right? And coffee farms are also there. And colonial bungalows. So colonial refers to the means Britishers. So during the old times, if you go to Calcutta, you would find out the kind of means apartments or the kind of hotels, the kind of houses have been created during the period of colonials, right? Similar to that, this place is also covered with the coffee estates and the colonial bungalows. So British time bungalows. And they all stand tucked under tree canopies. Tree canopies means roof-like coverings that form shelters in prime corners. So prime means called as the best part of the district, best part of the city, best part of the town. So there you will find out these means bungalows have been stood, and the coffee estates have been means nearby there. The fiercely independent people of Coorg are possibly of Greek or Arabic descent. So the author again took the reader towards the those of the inhabitants who settled there. Who are those people? Now those people are called as means a kind of particular tribe or particular means a group who belong to Greek or Arabic descent. Maybe it is indicating as white descent, or maybe the descendant of the Greek people or Arabic people. Why? Now the author means give the reason behind it. The author stated that these people are the terrible independent people, right? So who belong to this Coorg, and they are possibly belonging their ancestor belonging from Greek or Arabic, and they are the descendant of them. So the author gave some of the stories to highlight that how his statement, which is referring to these Coorg people belonging to Greek or Arabic. Now he made a story, as one story goes, a part of Alexander's army moved south along the coast and settled here. When return became impractical, these people married amongst the locals, and their culture is clear, apparent in the martial tradition, marriage and religious rites which are distinct from the Hindu mainstream. Right? So this is indicating one of the story where he pointed that means how uh, a part of or a group of Alexander's army who moved from south side along the coast, and there they settled. For there they settled means there that place which is called as a Coorg, where they settled. And why did they settle there? Because their return to their own place became impractical. Impractical means not possible, right? And therefore they settled there permanently. And how they settled there permanently? Now, because these people married amongst the locals. Locals means local people who settled there already earlier to them, right? So to them, they got into the marriage, and their culture is clear in the martial tradition. So the author pointed that these people married amongst the locals, and their culture is apparent in the martial tradition, marriage and religious rites, which are unique from the Hindu mainstream. So the way means Hindu marriage, Hindu religious, Hindu religion, right? So the same, right? But at the same time, slightly different by this Greek or Arabic people. So the author pointed that which are distinct from the Hindu mainstream. The theory of Arab origin draws support from the long. So like the author stated the statement about Greek, the author also gave the theory of Arab. What did he say? Now the theory of Arab that begins support from the long black coat with an embroidered waist belt worn by the Kodabas, known as kupia. It resembles the kupia owned by the Arabs and the Kurds. So why did the author point out the idea that the people who live in Coorg belonging to Arab or belonging to Greek? Because he made the statement like Greek conquer Alexander and his army settled there, and they found that it became impractical for them to return. So what they did, now they settled there and they got into the marriage. They means accept the religion of those people. They accept the culture of theirs, and means they settled for forever there, right? That is the region the author pointed that means Greek people are the ancestor of them, and they are the descendant. So second, Arab theory pointed that what? Now Arab theory pointed about the kind of appearance of these Coorg people, which is supporting that the theory that the people belonging to the Coorg are belonging from Arab origin. What kind of support? You will find out the kind of dresses they wear. They wear the dresses which are long, black coat with an embroidered. Embroidered means that's called as a beautifully stitches or called as weaved. West belt worn by the Kodavas. West belt means they wear also one kind of a belt. So by these Kodavas, so known as kupia, it resembles the kupia owned by the Arabs and the Kurds. So the kind of a dresses, the kind of a vest belt owned by Kodavas, who are known as kupia, and the same is resembling to the kupia owned by the Arabs and the Kurds. So therefore, the appearance or the dresses which are resembling, that they might be the descendant of the Arab. Not even might, they are the descendant of Arab. That is what it is stated. So Kurgi homes have a tradition of hospitality. Hospitality means called as a welcoming to the people. So Kurgi people, or these people who live in their homes, they have a tradition. So what kind of a tradition? Now, how to means maintain the hospitality, means welcoming, or called as welcoming to the guest. And they are more than willing to recount numerous tales of valor. More than willing means they are also very happy or desire to remember numerous. Numerous means number of stories. Stories of valor. Valor means called as a courage and a bravery. So which they performed during the war time. So that is why means they used to tell such stories to the guest whom they take as their whom they give the hospitality. So they tell the stories. Even means, so what happens? These stories of valor related to their sons and fathers, how their sons and how their fathers who fought in the war, right? And the what kind of a war they fought. So all such kind of a things they tell to their guest. So the Coorg regiment is one of the most decorated in the Indian army. Even the author pointed that, means it is a one of the regiment. Regiment means called as a one particular group, Coorg group, can be found in the Indian army, and they are considering as a one of the means decorated. And the first chief of the Indian army, General Cariappa, was a Kurgi. So these are the means evident. These are the means regions which are evident that what now how Kurgi are means famous, how Kurgi are familiar, right? Even now, Kodavas are the only people in India permitted to carry firearms without a license. So it means the author suggested that how important these people are. These people are means part of the country. So they are means martial. They are also very familiar to Greek and Arab. So these people are getting special privilege in Indian army. So even means General Cariappa, who is the who is considered as the first chief of the Indian army, so he was also Kurgi. So and these Kurgi people, Kodavas, are the only people in India permitted to carry firearms without a license, whereas no other can get. So no other can get means no other can get without license of firearm. So the river Kaveri. So till this you would find out the author is describing about the people and their importance. Now after that the author is stating about the place, Coorg, how it looks like. The author stated that the river Kaveri obtains its water from the hills and forest of Coorg. So we also familiar with the river called Kaveri, and how where that water comes to this particular Kaveri river. Now it obtains, it brings or it fetches its water from the hills that around Coorg and the forest of Coorg. So Mahasir, a large freshwater fish, abound in these waters. So in Kaveri river, you would find out a large freshwater fish, which is known as a mahasya, right? Abound in this water. About in these waters, just a minute. So, yes, a large freshwater fish abound in these waters, right? So, you would find out that waters is written. Why not it is written water only, right? Because it tries to tell us the idea about the means number of rivers. So, Mahasir, a large freshwater fish, means that generally found in these waters or these rivers. So kingfishers dive for their catch, while squirrels and langurs drop partially eaten fruit for the mischief of enjoying the splash and the ripple effect in the clear water. So the author beautifully described the scenery or the image of this nature of Coorg. The author stated that means this place is covered with the river, right? At the same time, the Kaveri River, which obtains its water from the hills and forest of Coorg, right? And the kind of uh, animals and birds, right, found here is called as means kingfishers. So that dive for their catch for these fish, while squirrels and langurs, these are also means animals found in where? In that jungle. While squirrels and langurs drop partially eaten fruit means they ate the fruit and half of the things they ate and rest of the things they throw it. So squirrels and langurs drop partially eaten fruit for the mischief of enjoying. Mischief means something called as a notorious. They do the naughty things, and what they do now, eating the half of the things of the fruit and throw it into the water. And once they do it, means frequently they do it, and they get the kind of enjoyment out of it. So the splash and the ripple effect of the clear water. So splash means you understand that after putting a kind of a stone, you will find out the kind of means breaking the silence of the water and the ripple effect in the clear water. So the author pointed, elephants enjoy being bathed and scrubbed in the river by their mahouts. So after telling about the water, freshwater fish, kingfishers, squirrels, langur, the author takes towards the elephants. So means they enjoy being bathed, or it means called as the mahout take the elephants to bath into that river water, scrubbed in the river by their mahouts. The most laid back. So when you are talking about laid back is called as a relaxed, or you can say a kind of a peaceful. The most laid back or relaxed or peaceful individuals become converts to the life of high energy adventure with river rafting, canoeing, rappelling, rock climbing, and mountain biking. So generally people visit to those of the places for doing adventurous things, right? And those of the individuals who want for the adventurous things or enjoyment or for peaceful or relaxing themselves, right? So what they do now, they convert to the life of high energy adventure by doing nothing but river rafting. So obviously you understand the meaning of river rafting, that how they take the boat and through the river they move from one place to the other place. They do the canoeing also. They do also rappelling. It means called as a going down a top by sliding down a rope, right? That is called as a rappelling, rock climbing. So these are called as adventurous outdoor sports, you can say. So that's what people enjoy there. So rock climbing and mountain biking. So numerous walking trails in this region are a favorite with the trekkers. So when I say that trekkers, it means these visitors who visit to this place, visit to this place, and also number of people walking like a queue in this region, in this area, with a favorite with the trekkers. So trekkers means you can say that pedestrians who walk from one place to the other place. So birds, bees, and butterflies are there to give you company. So while means the author talk about the nature, the author also stated about means how the forest that echoed with the sounds of birds, bees, and butterflies. And it seems like what they are giving a company, they're making a company, or they are associating with you. Macaques, Malabar squirrels, langurs, and slender loris keep a watchful eye from the tree canopy. So these are called as animals which have been found, right, observing you. So in the branches of the tree. So the author stated that I do, however, prefer to step aside for wild elephants, because obviously means some animals are innocent, so whereas the others are called as wild in nature. So that is why the author stated that while he was visiting to the place and enjoying himself, so at the same time he was also cautious about the wild elephants. The climb to the Brahmagiri hills. So as I told you, means the place is covered with the numerous hills. So the author is stating about one of the means particular hill, right, or hills, Brahmagiri hills. The climb to the Brahmagiri hills. Why it is called as the Brahmagiri hills? It is referring as a group of hills. So while the author climbed to the Brahmagiri hills brings you into a panoramic view. So the meaning of panoramic view is called as a wide view, wide area of land, of the entire land, which is a misty. Misty means snowy, covering with the white clouds, landscape of Coorg. You can see the clear picture, right? Or you can say that a faint picture, not clear, faint picture, white faint picture of Coorg. By standing on the top of the mountain, you can see the entire picture of the Coorg. Or walk across the rope. A walk across the rope bridge leads to the 64-acre island of Nisargadhama. So what is that again? The author pointed that means this is one of the peaceful place, right? So where he pointed that if you want to go to that place, Nisargadhama, so you have to walk from one place of the rope bridge that will take you to the other part, right? And which is somehow called as a crossing to the 64-acre island of Nisargadham. Running into Buddhist monks from India's largest Tibetan settlement at nearby Bailacu is a bonus. So even when the place, right, is uh, under the Buddhist monks, which is running into Buddhist monks from India's largest Tibetan settlement. So you can say that what it is nothing but the place of Buddhist monks at nearby Bailacu, and that is nothing but one of the added advantage, and therefore it is called as a bonus. If you're visiting to Coorg, so you find out the kind of a panoramic view of that particular place. At the same time, if you go to the place called as a Nisargadhama, and also you will find out that how the Buddhist monk places settle there nearby Bailacu, and it's nothing but one of the added advantage to you. The monks, their appearance in red, ochre, and yellow robes, the kind of a dress they cover with themselves, which is covering to till their after neons. They are amongst the many surprises that wait to be discovered by visitors searching for the heart and soul of India, right here in Coorg. So all total, the author is clearly describing his, his visiting to Coorg, and the history that inculcated into the place, the history that pertain to the place. The history refers to the people, the history that refers to the means uh, house and trees and also the animals and the river. So everything is beautifully decorated and suggested through this text, right? I hope you understood, guys.
Yes, sir.
I tried to describe bit by bit or line by line with the each word, which will be means simplified clearly, right? Okay, so let's see that. What is the next one? Tea from Assam. Let's see that how big it is. Okay, we can complete this. Shall we start this? Tea from Assam.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's go for the third unit of it. That's called as a tea from Assam. So it is a kind of a topic which is indicating as a kind of a uh, conversation or a dialogue, completely a dialogue formation, which is made between two of the friends. Pranjul, the story begins from means, a character called as a Pranjul, who is a youngster from Assam. So it means he is a native to that place. Is a Rajbir's classmate at school in Delhi. Pranjal's father is the manager of a tea garden in Upper Assam, and Pranjal has invited whom Rajbir to visit his home, means to Assam, during the summer vacation. Generally, what happened means when we study in a hostel out of our state, so uh, we ask our friends to come to means our native place and enjoy uh, himself or herself. So here also you would find out Pranjal and Rajbir both are the uh, friends, both are the friends and classmates at school in Delhi. And Pranjal invited the Rajbir uh, to visit his home during the summer vacation. So this the dialogue started with a vendor who made a kind of a vendor, you know that in platform or in a train we generally meet, these are the vendors who hold a kettle in their hand and make a kind of a sound or chanting chai garam garam chai, so like that. So here also a vendor who made a dialogue like chai garam chai, called out in a high pitched voice. High pitched voice means loudly, right? He came up to their window and asked, Chai Saab, give us 2 cups. So who said? Pranjal said. So they sipped the steaming hot liquid. Sipped means not taking like a continuously, but one after another. Steaming hot liquid. So almost everyone in their compartment was drinking tea too. So do you know that over 80 crore cups of tea are drunk every day throughout the world? So Rajbir said this statement. So who was not familiar to Assam, who was invited by Pranjal. So Rajbir commented that over 80 crore cups of tea are drunk every day throughout the world. So Pranjal exclaimed or surprised, "Whew, tea really is very popular." So in that case, yeah, where am I? Yeah, we exclaimed Pranjal, tea really is very popular. The train pulled out of the station. Pranjal buried his nose in his detective book. Again, so like during our journey, we hold the book as a good companion. So here also Pranjal means holding one of the detective book and uh, was focusing into it or reading concentrately. Rajbir too was an ardent fan of detective stories. Right, ardent means called as a, that's called as a you can say that uh, admired one, right? A fan of detective stories. But at the moment he was, or passionate, but at the moment he was a keener on looking at the beautiful scenery. So what happened? Now it was green, green everywhere. Rajbir had never seen so much greenery before. Then the soft green paddy fields. So we understand the meaning of paddy, right? So which is called as the west part of the rice. Paddy field, rice or wheat. Paddy fields give way to tea bushes. So here you would find out then the soft green paddy fields give way to tea bushes. So he could find out that how the tea bushes means called as a that may be filled covering with the tea plantation. It was a beautiful, magnificent view, remarkable picture. So that scenery against the backdrop of densely wooded hills, a sea of tea, uh, a sea of tea bushes stretched as far as the eye could see. So it means what Rajbir saw nothing but what means a beautiful scenery of tea plantation, and that covers the means miles and miles, right? And at the same time, he could also see that means the hilly areas which is covering with or which are covering with nothing but wood, that called as a small jungle type. So dwarfing the tiny tea plants were tall, sturdy shade trees, and amidst the orderly rows of bushes busily moved doll-like figures. Doll-like figures means like they are dancing because of the gentle wind. So the author pointed in the distance was an ugly building with a smoke billowing out of tall chimneys. So he also could see, or he could also see that in afar means old buildings with smoke coming out from the chimneys, tall chimneys. So, and Rajbir excitedly cried, "Hey, a tea garden!" Pranjal, who had been born and brought up on a plantation, did not share Rajbir's excitement, because obviously, when you are habituated with something, you will not get excited by listening to a part of it, right? So that's why Rajbir did not get excited. So, sorry, Pranjal did not get means excited to Rajbir's exclamation, right? Oh, this is tea country now, right? He said, Assam has the largest concentration of plantation in the world. You will see enough gardens to last you a lifetime. So obviously, this is the kind of a statement means Pranjal made, right? So I have been reading as much as I could about tea, Rajbir said. So no one really knows who discovered tea, but there are many legends. So what legends? Well, there is the one about the Chinese emperor who always boiled water before drinking tea. One day, a few leaves of the twigs means called as a small, you can say branch of the tree, right? So a few leaves of the twigs that is burning under the pot fell into the water, giving it a delicious flavor. So this is nothing but a small story, right? It is said they were tea leaves. So Pranjal scoffed. Tell me another. So tell me another. Pranjal scoffed means it's somehow called as a kind of a means taken aback, or called as a surprised by, or called as a got into the excitement by listening to a kind of a story. So he made, tell me another. We have an Indian legend too. Bodhidharma, an ancient Buddhist ascetic. Ascetic means called as a monk or guru, or called as a priest. So who is a pure in heart. So Bodhidharma, an ancient Buddhist ascetic, cut off his eyelids because he felt sleepy during meditations. So this is called as again another story. Cut off his eyelids means what? He removed his eyelids. So because he felt means sleepy. So 10 tea plants grew out of the eyelids. So his eyelids, right, when dropped into the soil, so what happened? 10 tea plants grew out of the eyelids. The leaves of these plants, when put in hot water and drunk, banished sleep. Banished means called as a disappear. So sleep will be disappeared. So even Rajbir added that what? Now tea was first drunk in China as far back as 2700 BC. So you would find out that the history of tea added with the stories which have been spoken here, and Rajbir is adding one after the another, and Pranjal was sculpted, and Pranjal was means taken aback and surprised and felt a kind of glad to listen to those stories. In fact, words such as tea, chai, and chini are from Chinese. Tea came to Europe only in the 16th century and was drunk more as medicine than as beverage. So it is not the kind of a beverage which is known, right, or which is told by people. It's a kind of a medicine which is used for the purpose of what? Now, some people say that immunity, strong immunity. Some people say that it can help us to eradicate your sleepy or what do we say that uh, idle thought, or called as indolent nature, inactive nature. So the means, but at the same time, it is called as a medicine. The train clattered into Mariani Junction. So clattered means called as a made a noise. The train stopped, or called as a made a noise into Mariani Junction means stopped. The boys collected their luggage and pushed their way to the crowded platform. So they finally reached to their destination, Mariani Junction. So the boys collected their luggage and pushed their way. So they tried to come out from that crowded platform. So Pranjal's parents were waiting for them. So soon they were driving towards Dhekia Bari, the tea garden managed by Pranjal's father. So where they were driving? They were driving towards Dhekia Bari. So it was nothing but considering as one of the tea gardens managed by Pranjal's father. Why? No, because Pranjal's father was a manager to that estate. An hour later, the car veered sharply, or called as a guided sharply off the main road, or called as a take a turn uh, towards the main road. They crossed a cattle bridge. They crossed a cattle bridge and entered Dekiabari tea estate. So on both sides of the gravel road, or called as a narrow road, were acre upon acre of tea bushes. So why it is called as a gravel? Because you will find out in both sides that the tea bushes are there which are hiding the road. So all neatly pruned, right? Pruned means what? Trimmed or cut. Like we usually say that the beard and mustache have been trimmed. Similar to that, these tea bushes have been neatly pruned to the same height, made a balance. Groups of tea pluckers means these labor or means workers. So they are called as a tea pluckers. Tea pluckers means they simply collecting the fresh tea leaves and put in their bamboo basket on their backs. Wearing plastic aprons, were plucking the newly sprouted leaves. So what they're doing now, they were plucking. So simply removing the newly sprouted lips. Newly sprouted lips means that's something called as a fresh leaves. Sprouted means called as a that's called as a coming out, produce newly produced lips. So that they pluck or means remove and put it in their bamboo baskets. Pranjal's father slowed down to allow a tractor pulling a trailer load of tea leaves to pass. As the place is filled with, you can say that tea bushes and the estate is there. So means those of the tractors and other vehicles which are covering with or loading with tea leaves. So they were passing. So Pranjal's father slowed down his vehicle and allowing a tractor means to pass. them. This is the second flush or sprouting period. Is not it, Mr. Barua? Rajbir asked. To whom? Means Pranjal's father. This is the second flush or sprouting period. So this is something called as what? First season is done, and the second season is there where the sprouting is producing or sprouting is coming out, and they are simply collecting this. It lasts from May to July and produces the best tea. So the time period is given May to July and produces the best tea. So you seem to have done your homework before coming, Pranjal's father said in surprise. Right. So it seems like what Rajbir had a lot of information about the tea, history of tea, and uh, the season of tea and the places of tea. So therefore, means he gave many of the stories to Pranjal during his journey to uh, Bhekiabari, right? So, and Pranjal's father said in surprise that you seem to have done your homework before coming to this place. So Rajbir admitted and accepted that yes, or means acknowledged, yes, Mr. Barua, but I hope to learn much more while I'm here. So he also desired to learn a lot of things in that particular place. So this is a kind of a dialogue conversation that held between Mr. Pranjal, Rajbir, and Mr. Barua, Pranjal's father. So, seeming like giving the information about the product, which is nothing but attached to the nation, and simply realizing that how it is so popular and how the nation produces such kind of a things in a particular place, and that particular place is famous for this particular product, right? With this note, you would find out that these are three units which are telling about means backer from Goan, Coorg, and tea from Assam. These three units are giving a three different uh, ideas. So baker from Goa, so indicating about the people. Coorg is indicating about the place. Tea from Assam indicating about the product. People, place, product. So you can say that three P's have been beautifully described in this particular topic. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
And what about the rest? Guys, understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Miracle, are you there or got into sleep?
Yes, understood.
Soumya? Soumya Sipalika, are you there? No? Oh. So fine, girls, I have a small test for you. Before you leave, I'll give you a small test of grammar, which you're supposed to attain. Give me a moment. Yes. I think you will take very less time for this. You can find out in your, you will find out in your WhatsApp. Wait a minute, guys. Take this call. Hello. Yes. Again. Oh, କୁହନ୍ତୁ କୁହନ୍ତୁ ଏଇଟା ଆପଣଙ୍କ ନମ୍ବର ତ କେତେ ଟଙ୍କା ଫୋନ ପେ ନା ଏତେ କାହିଁକି ହବ କୋଉଠୁ ହବ ଏତେ କୋଉଠୁ ହବ କଣ ହେଇଛି କି କୋଉଠି ମେସିନ୍ ସବୁ ଅବିକା ପଇସା ଅଛି ପାଖରେ ଅଛ କୋଉଠି ଆଉ ଏଇଠି ପାଖକୁ ଯଦି ଆସିବ ମୁଁ ତାହେଲେ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିକି ଦେବି ଆସିବେ ସମୟ ଗାଡିଆ ପାଖକୁ ପଳେଇ ଆସିଲି ମୁଁ ଆଜ୍ଞା ଠିକ ଅଛି ରହୁଛି ଅମୃତ ପଟ୍ଟନାୟକ ଆଉ କାହାକୁ ଦେବି ଏସଏସପି grammar SSP then after English. Yep, I have sent it.
When we will do it?
13 questions are there. You can attend it now. No issue. Only 13 questions are there. थोड़ी मैंने यहाँ पे ज्यादा दिया है. Okay, you do it, and after completion of it, you can leave the class, or you may leave the class and complete it, right? No issue. I'll check the score. Bye for now. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Good night, sir. Thank you, sir.